Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, will you join me for a moment and just imagine how fantastic you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance, and I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can Tony Copeland-Parker. He's my guest star today, and he's here to share his unique and distinct journey to his life of significance. Hey, Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking really forward to having a good conversation with you today.
Right on. Why don't you just get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world?
Well, I have a motto that I try to follow each day, and that is, I aspire to inspire till I expire. Presently, my partner, 24 years, and I are residing in a senior living facility here in Roswell, Georgia. And she's 62 and I'm 68. Unfortunately, when she was 52, she was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. But surprisingly enough, even though most folks here are at least 10 years older than us, tell me all the time that I inspire them with my love and care for Catherine. Initially, our response was somewhat counterintuitive. We retired, sold our home, and became nomads running marathons and half marathons all over the world for the first 8 years. As the disease progressed, however, we have transitioned to living here. And we're finding joy each day, so we continue to travel across the country doing smaller races.
Very good. I want to get into some of your races and all that when we talk about this big transformation that you had in your life. But for now, Tony, let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world can get to know you through our happy formula. And it's a simple but very powerful equation that goes something like this: purpose plus power equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally? In other words, Tony, what do you do on a regular basis to create the power you need to take good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to be a giver to others?
So what I've been doing for the last 6 months is running at least a mile a day. And as a matter of fact, today marks the 6 months mark. And when I first started out, I didn't know how long it was going to last, but now I've decided that this is my time for myself, 12 minutes, 15 minutes to take to myself. During that period of time, I found 3 meditation series that I look at and listen to along the way and just kind of internalize. The first one is positive thoughts. I'm doing the best that I can. Now, we have a tendency to try to focus on the negative aspects of our life. And this one allows me, while I'm caring for someone with dementia, to learn from her and others, so how I can do better. And this one is contentment. I have enough, I am enough. A lot of times as humans, we have a tendency to want to do more and think we need more. But this one kind of keeps me grounded. And then the last one is gratitude. This one, it asks you, when you're going through this series, to find 4 things that you're grateful for, and also 1 person that you're grateful for. And once again, you have a tendency to look at the negative things in life, and this one causes you to look at the positive things that are in your life. And it could be something simple like, I had a good cup of coffee, or I woke up and my back didn't hurt when I got out of bed. So those are the things that I do.
Yeah, I recently saw on a chalkboard behind a bar in a brewery, it said, the days that my gratitude is higher than my expectations, those are really good days.
Right. I ran across a quote, and that is, gratitude is the closest thing to beauty manifested in emotion.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, let's dive into my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And I love it, Tony, because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. Kaizening life is knowing there's always something I can do better today, better tomorrow than today. And it creates this optimistic, gentle, but powerful and continuous uplifting of my life day after day after day. So, Tony, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your personal power to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Well, what I try to do is I try to keep my eye on the horizon and take each day one day at a time, or for me, one footstep at a time. I learn from my missteps. I want to keep with that analogy going, and then I try to take those and be better in the future. I also, in turn, focus on what went right each day, and then try to take those wins and do better the next day.
You know, the whole idea of continual progress and contrast it with aging or with decline, as in the case of Alzheimer's and other illnesses. I've been working with a group recently and came up with this idea that, you know, with effort, we may not get everything we want, but it'll be better than it otherwise would have been without the effort.
Right.
Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yes, the effort of cutting out the 15 minutes a day to get the run in, the commitment that I made to myself to do that, it's something that I take away a lot from. And it's the fact that I actually did it each day. Now, the thing is that I'm the only one that knows that I did it. It's not like I'm going out to the world and shouting on the top of a rooftop that the fact that I accomplished this. So this is really good for me. And also it gives me, during these meditations, gives me opportunities to kind of get into a really good mindset for the rest of the day.
Yeah, very good. Okay, now let's move on to purpose. That's the second element of our happy formula. And Tony, I've observed that major life transformations or discovery of purpose often come from devastation, addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster. Something awful strips a life to its core, resulting in some great big change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration. So how about you, Tony? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Well, I was a commercial management pilot for 27 years. I had to go in and get a routine physical every 6 months, and my flight surgeon was listening to my heart, and he says, "Oh, do you know that you have a heart murmur?" I did not know that at the time, but what was happening was my aortic valve was starting to regurgitate, wasn't closing properly. So in 2014, I had open heart surgery to replace a leaky aortic valve. Now, some would think that's major, but at the same time, Catherine was diagnosed for early onset Alzheimer's. So what I did was, instead of focusing on me, I went ahead and tried to come up with to handle her disease as a team effort and try to come up with the best thing for us to do moving forward. I wrote about our experiences because they say writing is really good for you. So I wrote to a journal, and then in turn, I took those writings and wrote a book about our experiences over those 8 years. And then also I still write to a blog, and I try to inspire others with my writings for people that are going down the same road as I.
And I think I read that when this all first happened, it was really kind of a heavy load for you to deal with, but that you decided to dedicate, you and Catherine decided to dedicate your energy to activities that you love in spite of the circumstances, in order to be able to maintain your connection together and to find solace amidst the challenges posed by Alzheimer's. So can you talk about the moment that you said, wait a second, we're in this soup, now let's just make the best of it, instead of doing what I think most people would think of as, no, let's try to fight it. Let's try to cure it. Let's try to, what can we do medically instead of just embracing life? That seems like a unique mindset that you had. So can you share that with us?
Well, one of the things that I try to do is research as much as possible and come up with some components that would be helpful to her, like exercise, a good diet, seeing new exciting things, socializing. So I, in turn, took that information and said, okay, what do we love to do? We love to run, okay? What do we love to do? We love to be together. We also love to travel. So let's try to take those three things and put them together and make a lifestyle that we could, that they would help us. And by traveling, getting rid of the house, getting rid of the bills that go along with it, we were able to take that money and put it towards our travel. And it turned out to be a really good, because what happens is, like you said, you end up focusing on those things of cure, or let's try to do this, try to do that. What we were focusing on is just getting our heads up, looking outside and say, oh, there's Eiffel Tower. Oh, there's the London Bridge. Oh, there's, friends that we've been on trips with together. And then running a marathon, which is quite mental, trying to get 26.2 miles done by foot nonstop. So that took us away from the fact that she had Alzheimer's.
So for folks that don't know your story, I mean, tell us how you quit the job, sold the house, got rid of your stuff, and you completely changed your lives. What was it like in the midst of that decision making? Did you have regrets? Were you both hand in hand with it? What was that decision like?
Well, we actually had some races on the schedule. We were doing some, races, and we were starting to do some international races. So we said, okay, we're going to go do Tokyo in February of 2015. So what's on the way to Tokyo? What's on the way back from Tokyo? So we started putting together, like a jigsaw puzzle. Oh, let's go here. Let's go to here. And then next thing you know, 30 days are in the book. And then it was another race. And then, what are we going to do before that race and after that race? Oh, there's a cruise that goes through that area. Let's go get on that cruise. And we were just, putting together as a jigsaw puzzle each one of these travels. And time went on. It was, oh, okay, a year's in the books. Now it's 2 years. The other thing that was kind of strange is we were actually trying to find some place to live. We're like, oh, let's go look at this place. Nah, we're there 3 days. That's good enough. We've seen it all. We've seen all the sites. Let's move on to something else. So that's kind of how it went. And, I did not know that it was going to last 8 years, but as time went on, it did. So it was a really good. And I think, there's no science behind it. I haven't read anything that says that, I've extended her quality of life, but I truly believe that the quality of life for Catherine has been extended by our travels and our running and exercise and socialization that we did.
Yeah, when you focus on love rather than the opposite of love, or hate, or disease, or the illness, or good versus the bad, where you put your focus is where you're going to be. And even if you're feeling sick or not remembering things, or you're really struggling, if you've never seen the Eiffel Tower before and you get to see it, that there's some thrill there, even in the midst of the struggle. Yeah.
Right. Yes, that is absolutely correct. It's hard to, let's say, for example, Catherine, so, I don't know what I had for breakfast. Well, look up, there's the Eiffel Tower. Let's have lunch there.
Yeah.
It takes that away. You don't really, get all wound up on the fact that you don't remember what you had for breakfast.
Yep. Yep.
And it turned out, it was interesting, because one of the things I did read about Alzheimer's is that you need routine. You need to get up at the same time, you need to be in the same place, you need to have this and that, everything is, well, what we did is we turned travel into our routine. She got used to the fact that, 4 days are up, we've seen everything here. We're getting, the suitcase is getting packed, and we're at the hotel, we're at the airport, we're on another plane. So for her,
Awesome.
it was her routine. So it worked out great.
Awesome. So you mentioned earlier that you started running a mile a day, and you've been to your 6-month mark. And I think I read about 20 years ago, and for no particular reason, that you decided to exercise at least 30 minutes every day for an entire year. But you soon discovered it was a lot harder than you thought it would be to carve out 30 minutes a day every single day.
Yeah.
At the time, you had your career and kids and coaching and all the
Right.
stuff of life. So I'd like you to tell us about that night when you started your exercise routine around 11:30 p.m. and you continued until 12:30 a.m. the next morning, just so you could check off both days accomplished. And then I want you to share with us the importance of stick-to-itiveness in creating happiness and joy in your life. Why is that important?
Well, I believe that what ended up happening is a lot of that has to do with my career. As a pilot, you have to be very disciplined. The checklist that you run, the switches that you have to, the communications, everything has to be so standardized. So that's inbred in me. So when I set a goal, like we're going to change airplanes, and my goal now is to be on the 757 or the 767, then we have to put a plan together, and you have to follow it methodically throughout till you accomplish that goal. So when I was setting up, it came up, I had soccer games the whole next day. We were going to do a tournament. There was no way I was going to be able to get it all. I was coaching one of the kids. So as I was packing up, I said, well, I got to get my exercise in. I said, well, maybe just start here at 11:30. I'll go to 12:30. I got today done. I got tomorrow done. We'll get up in the morning. We'll get in and we'll start our trip for our soccer practice, or soccer tournament. So it's just one of those things that you kind of have to set aside the time. And I have the same situation here. Catherine can be left alone in an apartment for 15 minutes without me having to worry so much. So, I get out, I go around in a time and a half around the building here, and then go pick up our breakfast and bring it back. And then we have breakfast. So, I'm killing two birds with one stone by getting the same thing done. She comes back. And on days that there's somebody here to help out, then I get more mileage in.
Yeah, and so what is it that you get from finishing it? I understand it. I want you to try to explain it to our office. I remember, sometimes I'm trying to get my 10,000 steps and I'm about 150 short. I'll just walk around my bedroom until I click those steps off, and then I feel better and I go to bed. So what is it about, it's as you said, it's in private. You didn't have to do that second day's workout. You still would have got your 30 minutes in. What do you get from going that extra mile for your own personal goals?
I think it's a matter of accountability. I've set a goal and I'm going to hold myself accountable for it. There's nobody looking down to make sure that I did it, but it's an accountability on my part. And it's just like anything else in terms of me, training for an airplane. My accountability. Did I study overnight? Did I perform, adequately in the simulator? Did I perform adequately in the airplane? And the other thing with flying airplanes is that, there's a lot of risk involved in it. So you want to make sure that you do it properly. So I have that instilled in me from the very beginning.
Very good. Wonderful, Tony. Well, let's take a commercial break for our sponsor to spread a little love with our audience. Happy is an intentional and lifelong journey, but it's hard to change and grow towards higher levels of happy without knowing where you're starting from. Our Happy Quiz puts a starting pin on the map to your happy living and provides additional guidance and motivation along the way. Just go to happyliving.com and take the Happy Quiz to get started on your road to happy. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Tony Copeland-Parker. He was a professional pilot and manager for 37 years. His last job was managing pilots and flying B-757s and 767 aircraft all over the world. Then came a great big transformation. He retired from his career and started writing a blog called runningwithcat.com and traveling with his Catherine to 82 different countries and running at least a half marathon in 35 countries and on all 7 continents. So far, they've run 66 marathons and many other races, including a 50-miler at the age of 50 and the Ironman triathlon too. And then at the well-seasoned age of 65, he wrote and published his first book called running all over the world our race against early onset Alzheimer's. Wow, Tony, I love all that. And I think you're going to love this article that I found on livescience.com. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. And it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. It tells how science supports the idea that giving one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway to discovering purpose and overcoming difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So what do you think, Tony? Has given your time and your talents and your treasures been a pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting past difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Well, you've heard about endorphins, and people get endorphins when they run. And I also get endorphins when I do something for someone else. And I know where it came from. It definitely came from my mother. I took care of my mother the last 9 years of her life. And one of the things, I would show up, we sit down and have dinner, or, ask her how her day goes. First thing we should ask, so what did you do for somebody today? And that was one of her things. She always, she'd go around at 84, 85 years old, and she's trying to do something for someone else. And the great thing about it is that here at the senior living facility is the fact that I have opportunities to do that all the time. A day doesn't go by that I don't have multiple opportunities to do it. It might be something simple like a lady's trying to get her key in the mailbox slot, or a lady's got the cart and she's trying to get her groceries to her apartment, and I help out there. So there's always opportunities to do that. The other thing that I like to do is I like to listen to others. I'm a good listener. I'm talking here, but in actuality, I listen more than I talk. So here, folks here want to talk. So instead of just walking by and say, hey, Joe, how you doing? I just stop. How you doing? And then they just start talking. And one of the things that I did do is I have several copies of our book here in the library. I've made some autograph copies to folks. They pass them around. There's some folks that are signed up to my blog. So we got plenty of opportunities and things to talk about as the day goes on. So I really enjoy it. It's very, very meaningful to me. I'm getting my endorphin hit, when I do my mile in the morning, and then also all day long while I'm here.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned endorphins. The article talks about it's a good feeling, but it also takes you towards your purpose. And I think maybe you can give us just a minute or two on the idea of how endorphins are triggering that thing, which is your purpose, right? You may get your endorphins might surge from giving. Somebody else's endorphins might surge from fixing an engine or playing music. Can you talk about how there's a connection between how you feel and what your purpose is?
Well, my purpose in life is to help others. I truly, truly believe that, because Catherine was diagnosed. We were together as partners. And I tell her all the time, I'm the perfect partner for you, because that is my purpose, is to help you. My mother taught me that when I was caring for her. She made sure that I understood that was what I was supposed to be doing. And so I'm enjoying it. It's hard, but at the same time, I'm getting the endorphin fix and also understanding that I'm doing well for her.
Yeah. And so the science tells us that helping, as you say, helping others helps bring real meaning to your life, to our lives. And I couldn't agree more. I just love it's that feeling that comes from our fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value to others or helping others. Because the magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more. But there's something more to it than that, Tony. It's not just the giving that's magical. What I've been discovering is it's when you're giving from living in your purpose. That's where you find the real magic. So the audience and I would like to experience how it makes you feel to be happily living your life and giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do. And so many people all around you have taken notice. So Tony, I'd like you to sit back open your heart, and just listen to what people are saying about the impact you're making on their lives by finding and living that magic in your life. One person told me, Tony Copeland-Parker is an incredible human being. Another said, superheroes are tough to find these days. Meet Tony Copeland-Parker, a gift of a man who rarely wears a cape. Tony inspires through feats of ongoing adventure, athleticism, and selfless, exceptional, tangible love for Kat, his super partner. Tony is one of the sweetest and most patient humans I've ever met. He's also hilarious and fun. Tony truly models what it means to live your best life, sharing his passion for adventure and for the love of his life, Kat, who was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. I do not exaggerate when I say that they, Tony and Kat, may be the most inspiring couple I have ever had the joy of knowing. Another one, Tony lifts everyone's spirit in his presence. Another, a true gentleman is the best way to describe him. One of the first things I noticed about Tony, besides his grand stature and wonderfully white afro, was his dedication and attention to Kat. He always made sure she was comfortable and happy. Another said he's a tireless advocate to make change by sharing their experience with others. What a human, an amazing individual, always upbeat, ready for the next challenge, quick with a laugh and quick with a good story too. Easygoing, friendly and generous, easy to engage, caring and compassionate. He's not afraid to be direct when he feels something is unjust or wrong. He never gives up. He's incredibly devoted, creative, full of zest, inspiring beyond words, dedicated, motivational, a wonderful friend. He never fails to reach out to others in need. If he's your friend, you are family to him, and he'll support you in any way he possibly can. He is exactly who and what he says. He's one of the people I consider a true friend. A person recalled from 8 years ago, I met Tony and Kat at the Dublin Marathon. I was in awe of both of them right away from the get-go. Tony's devotion to Kat and her needs has moved me like nothing else. The way they always cross the finish line holding hands, and now him pushing her in the Catmobile is amazing. Tony embraces his future with Kat with dignity and love. It's nice to be around a couple who constantly remind you of what love should be. I've rarely seen someone with such commitment and love to another human being. His loving and tireless care of his Catherine amazes me. And finally, one says, watching Tony has renewed my faith in love and commitment. So, Tony, what does all that mean to hear about the impact you're making on others?
Well, my mother is very happy. She passed away, but I know that she's looking down and she's smiling, knowing that she was successful in getting me to, as I said earlier, to aspire to inspire till I expire. And so far, it sounds like I'm doing a pretty darn good job. So I'm very, very happy that I'm able to inspire others as they go about their lives and they look to me to say, this is what I want to do when faced with something like this. Because everyone has a story. Everyone has a challenge coming up. They might not have that challenge today, but they can take what they've seen and what they've read and move forward and hold on to it. And hopefully it will help them. And that's one of the reasons why I write to my blog. It's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, is so that folks could have this information moving forward. So thank you very much. That was a surprise. I did not know. But I was able to keep it together.
Very good. And that's what this show is all about. It's finding that magic in each of our lives. It's available for each of us. That's what I believe. And it comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose. And giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life and to the lives of those around you too. So giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So to more properly capture the exponential power of our happy formula, Tony, I'm going to tweak it just a little bit more. Power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
That sounds about right to me. Absolutely. Yes.
Very good.
I had a situation come up here recently where I was trying to figure out how happy Catherine is. I started doing some research, and it's like, oh yeah, in this, 7 stages of Alzheimer's, where she's settled in on stage 6, it always talks about what they can't do, but it never talks about how they feel.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I decided upon myself that she's pretty happy. I look at her and she's giving hugs to folks and she's laughing, and she, yeah, she has problems. She has things that she can't do, but internally she's pretty happy. So what I end up doing is I'm saying to myself, how is she so happy? It's because of the things that I do for her, that how I have her, where I have her, this setup that I have with people coming in and helping me, so that I'm not all worn out every day trying to do it all myself. So then I have contentment in the fact that I'm doing something for her that makes her happy. And then
that's 100% right. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. And we're going to get into a lightning round of quotes here, but this one is, your day belongs to another's dream. So, nobody wants to have Alzheimer's, let alone stage 6, but look at all that she does have. She has you. You guys you have enough means that you can be in an assisted living facility. There are so many people that would trade places to have that much love in their life. And so it's a matter of what we talked about before. Where are you putting your energy? And I love the idea that you're saying, wait a second, let's see where is her happiness and where is her joy? And to be able to hug somebody every day is a pretty cool thing.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very good.
As always, she has some good days, she has some not so good days, but we take those not so good days, and that's what I call them, not so good days, as opposed to a bad day. And
very good.
Put them aside, and as we go to bed every night, I say to her, today was a good day. We had a
good. Well, that's a perfect lead in to our lightning round, because words have power, right? Choosing the right words. And I love the power of certain quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorite, Tony, and have you tell us what they mean to you. Give us the first thing that comes to your mind, because we call this a lightning round.
Okay.
Here we go. From Johan Johansson. He said, find the thing you do well and do it again and again for the rest of your life.
I actually have that quote in my book. It's interesting because that is one of the things that we try to do every day. What do we enjoy doing? We enjoy traveling. We enjoy running races together. We enjoy crossing the finish line together. So we do it day in and day out. Absolutely.
Very good. This one, the author's unknown to me. Maybe you know who he is, but some smart person once said, never blame someone else for the road you're on. That's your own asphalt. Spelled A-S-P-H-A-L-T, asphalt.
Now you got that from me. I had that on my Facebook. I found it somewhere, and that's a true statement. Yeah, the road that you pick, and I talk about this to people all the time. Every day you can make a left turn or a right turn, and you can't go back and say, no, I didn't like the way the right turn went, and now I want to go left. No, now you're at another intersection. So you end up where you end up because of what you did every day, the decisions you made. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that. I did get it right from your page. Okay, this is from William Carey. He said, I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of succeeding at things that don't matter.
Well, what brings to mind in that case is the fact that I don't want to ever regret not doing something. I don't want to say, oh, I wish I had done, I wish I had done that. So one of the things we do is when there's a choice to do something, we say, yeah, I want to do that. I always wanted to do that. Today is a good day to go ahead and get it done, as opposed to say, oh, I'll do it next week. And I have a whole section in my book about, folks that say, oh, I'll retire one day and I'll do this. I'm saving up for this, I'm saving up for that. We don't know how long we're going to be on this earth.
Right.
Well, let's just go ahead and just do what we want to do when we can do it.
Yeah, that's it. This is from Lao Tzu. He said, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage.
Well, what I what I get from that is the fact that folks have a hard time doing the latter because it takes a lot of courage to do that. And we have a tendency not to take that step to do that. And I do. I absolutely every day.
This is from Mary Oliver. She said, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Well, I have behind me is some pictures of Catherine and I through the years. And in the center of it, there's a quote that it talks about, I don't plan on leaving this earth in a well-preserved body. I plan on sliding in, dust is all going, and say, hey, what a heck of a ride. So that's my purpose.
Leave it on the field, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and finally, Tony, this is a show anchor from Goth. You talked about it earlier, but I'll give it to you in full. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is the fact we don't know how long we're going to be on this earth. And I try not to, you have genes. You say, oh yeah, my dad lived to 94, my mom lived to 89. So probably, oh, I had heart surgery. Did I get more time or less time? Oh, she has Alzheimer's. Is she going to have more time or less time? We have no way of knowing. So each day, just get up, give it your all, put the one foot in front of the other, and enjoy life as much as you can. So that's what we try to do.
Very good. Okay, folks, now it's your chance to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Tony Copeland-Parker, won't you please share a little love with our amazing broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Tony, I love that you're openly sharing very intimate life challenges with others in order to show them that it's possible to live a life of joy, even with Alzheimer's. And I admire how you and Catherine have dedicated your energy to activities you love as your solution to maintaining your connection with each other and to finding solace and peace amidst the extraordinary challenges posed by Alzheimer's. And I'm super happy that you've shared your loving and indomitable spirit on our show today. Will you please take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Yes, as we get older and retire, couples have a tendency to live somewhat separate lives. We did that when we were in the job market. He would go and she would go to one job or the other. And then when you retire, you have a tendency to continue to do that. Maybe she or he would play bridge, or he or she would go play golf. What I suggest is you find something that you love to do together and do it together for as long as you can, because we have no idea how long we're going to be on this earth.
Very good. All right. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Tony and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Tony Copeland-Parker. Find him, friend him, read his blog, and buy his book, Running All Over the World. It's at runningwithcat.com. That's RUNNINGWITHCAT.com. One more time, runningwithcat.com. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com right now and take our happy quiz, because measuring your happy helps you focus attention on it, and focusing attention on it attracts change and learning and improvement, all to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, then please give some thought about what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.
Wow.